Most people spend their entire lives playing a game they didn't design. They wake up inside a set of rules they never agreed to. They work for a currency they don't control. They chase a success defined by people who don't even know their name. In the eyes of the global elite, these people are not individuals, they are players. And the problem with being a player is that the house always wins. The Matrix wants you to be a great player. It wants you to be the best doctor, the best lawyer, the best employee. Why? Because as long as you are playing their game, your energy is feeding their empire. The architect of fate knows that wealth is the developer's key. We don't earn the hundreds of millions to win the game. We earn the millions to exit the game and build a new one. In America, we talk about opportunity, but real opportunity is the power to set the rules. When you are a subject, you ask, what can I do within the system? When you are a sovereign will, you ask, what system do I choose to create? Wealth is the architectural weight required to bend reality. Think about the high-standard lifestyle we have discussed. The 100-acre sanctuary, the V12 machine, the elite circle. These are not prizes. They are the infrastructure of your own reality. You are building a world within a world. We get rich to buy back the right of definition. We want to be the ones who define what is good, what is true, and what is possible.
The average person is terrified of risk. They crave safety. They want a guaranteed paycheck, a guaranteed future, and a guaranteed average life. They don't realize that safety is the most expensive illusion in the universe. You pay for it with your soul. The sovereign will practices the alchemy of the holy risk. We earn the massive wealth not to stay safe, but to afford the big gamble. Most people think that rich people stop taking risks. They are wrong. The real elite take risks that would stop an average man's heart, but they do it from a position of strategic liquidity. When you have $100 million, you can afford to neglect the small fires, to focus on the great transformation. You can afford to bet on an idea that everyone else calls delusional. Wealth is the oxygen of audacity. The non-materialist seeks wealth because greatness requires a safety margin for failure. If you are poor, one mistake and you are out of the game. If you are a titan, a mistake is just a tuition fee. We buy the $200,000 car and the $10 million mansion to train our nervous system to handle high-stakes reality. When you drive a car that can move at 200 miles per hour, you are training your brain to make decisions in the red zone. When you manage a 20-acre estate, you are training your brain to manage complexity. This is the gym of the will. We want the wealth so we can afford to risk everything for the truth.
In the Matrix, people lie because they are afraid of losing their safety. The sovereign speaks the truth because they have built a fortress of capital that makes them unshakable. Risk is not a gamble, it is a command. Let us go deeper into the mansion. The critics ask, why do you need 10 bedrooms? Why do you need a private library? Why do you need a spa? They are thinking in terms of comfort. We are thinking in terms of neural buffer. The modern world is an information war zone. Every time you are in public, your will is being bombarded by the small thoughts of the crowd. You are being vibrated by their anxiety, their jealousy, and their mediocrity. Wealth is the distance between your soul and the static. We build the 100-acre sanctuary to create a thinking tank of the 1%. We want the high ceilings because they encourage abstract thinking. We want the vast horizons because they encourage long-term planning. We want the high-end soundproofing because we want to hear the whisper of the divine without the screaming of the mundane. Our home is the headquarters of the self. The non-materialist recognizes that clarity is the ultimate luxury. In the city, clarity is impossible. You are plugged in to the grid. In the sanctuary, you are disconnected from the matrix and connected to the source. We earn the money to buy the void.
We want the empty space where nothing is happening so that everything can happen in our minds. We buy the luxury to buy back the right to be uninterrupted. If you don't have the space to be alone with your vision, you don't own your vision, the world does. Let us speak of movement. Most people move through the world as subjects. They are pushed by the schedule, pushed by the traffic, pushed by the expectations of others. Their movement is passive. The sovereign will moves as a kinetic command. Why the V12? Why the high-performance machine? It is because we want our physical movement to match our mental velocity. When you step on the gas of a masterpiece of engineering, you are not just speeding, you are performing an act of alignment. The car is a physical mantra of precision. Every time the gear shifts, every time the suspension reacts, every time the engine roars, your brain is receiving a signal of perfect control. This signal programs your soul. It tells you that reality is malleable. It tells you that if you have the will, the world will move out of your way. We don't buy the car to show off. We buy the car as a meditation tool for the warrior. In the average world, everything is slow, cheap, and broken. This creates a broken soul. But in the sovereign world, everything is fast, precise, and unbreakable. This creates a sovereign soul.
We seek the millions to ensure that our environment of movement is as elite as our internal vision. If you are a 1,000 horsepower spirit driving a 100 horsepower life, you will eventually burn out your engine. We get rich to buy the hardware that can handle our software. We are entering the era of digital feudalism. In the past, kings owned the land. Today, kings own the cloud. If your data is on their servers, if your thoughts are on their platforms, if your communication is through their smart devices, you are a digital peasant. You are paying data tax with every breath you take. The sovereign will earns the billions to build a private reality. We want our own servers. We want our own encrypted networks. We want the luxury of being analog when we want to be, and hyperdigital when we need to be. Wealth is the firewall of the soul. We get rich to buy the right to be unhackable. The matrix wants to predict you. It wants to know what you will buy, what you will think, and how you will vote. The moment you are predictable, you are controlled. The sovereign is the ghost in the machine. We use our wealth to create an information black hole. We want the world to see our success, the visible part of the iceberg, but never our strategy, the 90% beneath the water. We buy the high life to create the smokescreen of luxury. While the crowd is distracted by our car and our mansion, we are building the infrastructure of the future in total silence.
Don't be a content creator for the matrix. Be the architect of the platform. Most wealthy people leave behind money. They are the financiers of their children's decay. The sovereign will leaves behind genetic and institutional memory. We earn the excessive wealth to buy the time for cultural engineering within our own bloodline. We want the 100-year estate, not for our comfort, but as a palace of memory. We want every object in the home, every book in the library, and every machine in the garage to be a teaching tool. When your great-grandchild touches the leather of your vintage Ferrari, they aren't just touching a car. They are touching your discipline. When they walk through the stone halls of your sanctuary, they are breathing your stillness. Wealth is the ink of the bloodline. We get rich to buy the right to encode our values into matter. The average person's values die with them, but the sovereign's values are baked into the architecture. We build the schools, we fund the foundations, and we establish the family constitution that acts as a sovereign program for the next 200 years. We are not having a life, we are designing an era. Stop thinking about inheritance. Start thinking about ancestral power. You are not just a person. You are the founding frequency of a new dynasty.
In the average world, they teach you that power is bad and ambition is greed. They want you to be a sage with no sword, wise but helpless. The sovereign will knows that wisdom without power is a tragedy, and power without wisdom is a crime. We seek dominance, not to oppress, but to establish a high frequency of reality. When the good man is the most powerful man in the room is safer. When the sovereign woman is the wealthiest woman in the room, excellence is rewarded. Wealth is the sword of the sage. We earn the money to be the final authority in our world. We want the power to say, this is the standard, this is the truth, and I have the capital to defend it. We buy the luxury to act as a protective barrier. We want the world to know that the defenders of truth are not weak. We want the evil and the mercenary to look at our empire and feel a healthy sense of fear. In America, we have enough soft leaders. We need titans of integrity. Stop apologizing for wanting to be the best. Your dominance is the immune system of your vision. Without it, the parasites will eat your dream before it can bloom.
We come to the ultimate paradox of the sovereign will. You have the cars, you have the mansions, you have the billions, you have the power. But the secret of the second act is that you must be willing to walk away from it all in a heartbeat. The moment you need the mansion to feel powerful, you are no longer a sovereign. You are a prisoner of stone. The architect of fate practices active detachment. We live in the high life as a state of consciousness, not as a dependency. We enjoy the V12 because it is a masterpiece of engineering, but we can sit in the dirt and be just as still. This disconnect is your ultimate weapon. When the matrix sees that you have everything, but you aren't hooked on anything, it loses its power over you. You cannot be bribed. You cannot be threatened. You cannot be bought by a bigger car or a flashier trophy. You are untouchable. We get rich to reach the point where we realize that the greatest luxury is nothingness. But ironically, you need the everything to appreciate the nothing. You must have it all to realize that the becoming was the only point. You are the spirit, using the material to prove its mastery. The Ferrari is the brush, the money is the paint, but you are the artist.